Hello, I will be doing table 3.8, which is reading exception words. The objective is after seeing an exception word, students will orally read the word by sight. The materials needed would be a board or a chart paper or a smart board or an overhead transparency and writing implement. I'm going to be using a two-part signal, which is underlining to ask what word and looping under each individual letter to ask of the spelling. The advanced organizer I will use is I would write all my words on my smartboard. However, due to the fact that my students cannot be recorded, I wrote the words and put them on my wall. So here we go. Today, we are going to learn some new exception words. This word is are. And then I would go back and ask what word, and my students would say are. And then I would say, yes, are. And then I would say, spell are. And my students would say A-R-E. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say are. And I would say, yes, are. And then I would move on and say, this word is the. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, the. And then I would say, yes, the. And then I would say, spell the. And my students would say, T-H-E. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, the. And I would say, yes, the. And then I'll move on to the other word and say, this is the word do. And I would say, what word? And my students would say, do. And then I would say, yes, do. And then I would say, spell do. And my students would say, D-O. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, do. And then I would say, yes, do. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, to. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, of. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, says. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, a. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, said. And then I would say, good job. Let's see if we could say these words faster this time. And then I would go back to the beginning and I would say, this word, and my students would say, are. And then I would say, this word, and my students would say, the. And then I would say, this word, and my students would say, do. And then I would say this word, and my students would say to. Then I would say this word, and my students would say of. And then I would say this word, and my students would say says. And then I would say this word, and my students would say a. And then I would say this word, and my students would say said. And then I would say, great job, guys. And then I would say, individual turns, Tommy, what word? And Tommy would say, do. And then I would say, good job. And then I would say, Stacy, what word? And Stacy would say, says. And I would say, yes, says. And then I would say, Chris, what word? And Chris would say, the. And I would say, yes, the. To reduce scaffolding, I will point to words randomly so that my students can remember or recognize the words. So then I would say, what word? And my students would say, do. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, of. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, to. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, are. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, says. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, a. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, said. And then I would say, what word? And my students would say, the. If a student makes an error, I would immediately return to a my turn, telling the students the exception word, asking them to spell it, asking them to say the word, and then returning to the top of the list to read all the words again from the beginning. To perk up my drill, I will tell my students that I will erase the words that they get right, and we're going to try until all the words are erased. Many students don't always put exception words into context, So I'll be sure to do that when introducing new words as an adaptation. Thank you.